Okay, we're a little bit late with the episode this week. Gonna try and cover as much as I can. We're gonna start obviously in Madrid. And when I started this show a few weeks back, I thought this was just gonna be an unbiased look at the tour, kind of dig into players who don't always get talked about, and really treat everybody fairly. Even the players that personally I might not love as much, treat them with the respect that they deserve. However, I have to talk about Marta Kostyuk. And as a lot of you may know, she is my favorite player. And this is the most magnificent run of her career. It's amazing. 12 straight wins now. She won Rouen. She won Madrid. Still feels unbelievable to say that. Let's first just start off by talking about this run that she just had in Madrid. It was a phenomenal run. This wasn't an easy road by any means. I mean, she's coming in on a 6-match win streak. She just won the title in Rouen. Not a lot of rest. Coming in straight into Madrid, she gets Putintseva first round. Not the toughest matchup. She dealt with Putintseva pretty easily in Brisbane. Then she gets Pegula, another opponent that she dealt with pretty easily in Brisbane. However, Pegula is not somebody that people deal with easily. Even on clay, where she's not her normal best self, she still made the final here in Madrid one year, and she's still a top 5 player, and she still has the head-to-head over Marta. Like, this is a really tough opponent, and Marta made it look easy. Pegula never had a chance in that match. The first set, Marta was ahead the whole time. The second set, she was ahead the whole time, and even when Pegula kind of tried to make it something, it was never close. And then McNally, who she just took out in Rouen last week, and, not the easiest match. She made it look easy here. She wins 6-2, 6-3. Katie McNally at the net after the match saying, "Man, I hope I don't play you in Rome. That's back-to-back losses to you." And McNally's a good player. She presents a tough challenge. She's very physical. She's, can beat you in a lot of different ways. And she may not have the highest ranking in the world, but she's not somebody that you want to see in your draw. And then she went up against Linda Noskova, who's a very tough opponent, top 15 player in the world, consistently brings a lot of power, and this is a great chance to talk about why Marta was so dominant this run in Rouen and has a great year overall, is her prowess on return. After this tournament, she's now number 1 on tour in return points won. She's sitting at 49% about, which is an absurd number. And in this tournament, she won 63% of her return games. That's facing big servers like Linda Noskova. It's facing great players like Andreeva and Pegula. She's going up against great competition and breaking them way more often than they're holding on her. That is such an accomplishment. And how she's doing it with this pure aggression. We'll get on into that in a little bit here. But she's stepping up. She's not letting you breathe. And she's hitting it hard at the baseline. But yeah, Noskova is one of the best servers on tour, has one of the highest hold percentages, has some of the highest stats as far as percentage of points won on serve. She's a really tough opponent to play, and Marta made her serve look like nothing. And then Potapova, this match started out with more Marta cruise control, but then this is the first time where Marta faced a little adversity. I think it was kind of the mental pressure here. She wins the first set 6-2. She's one set away from the final, and who's waiting for her in the final? Not Sabalenka, not Rybakina, not Swiatek. It's Mira Andreeva, somebody who she's beat before. And I feel like some of that pressure might have been there where this is the best chance I've ever had at winning a 1,000 tournament. I feel like a part of her felt that pressure in that moment. It's, wow, I'm really this close. She took quite a dip in the second set. And yes, Potapova has had a great tournament. She had a great run herself. She beat Rybakina. It was really just an achievement for her all week long, especially coming from qualifying. But I do think that second set was more about Marta's dip in level. But then third set comes, she really steadied herself out, got back on track, tore it apart in the third set again. So there she goes. She gets to the final, dropping one set against pretty tough competition the whole way through. And then in the final, it's Mira Andreeva. I mean, I said from the start, it's Sabalenka or Andreeva. Those are the two best players at this tournament, with obviously Sabalenka being number 1. And Andreeva, if it's not going to be Sabalenka, it's going to be her. So you're going up against a top 10 player in the world, probably close to a top 5 player, especially on clay, at a tournament where she's had such great moments, a lot of milestones here, has had such great successes. And this is an opponent, too, that Mira has won 2 1,000 titles. She's been on this stage, she's delivered. And she was 5-1 in finals in general coming into this. So how does Marta respond? She takes control and doesn't let it go. First set, 6-3, makes it look easy. Second set, she breaks right away to start, goes up 1-0, but then Mira fires back with 3 straight games. Now Marta's all of a sudden down a break. It's 3-1. At that point, part of you is thinking, is this like the Potapova match where that second set, she starts to feel the pressure. She lets it get away from her. No, she buckled down, broke to love, get right back on serve, and then she holds steady, and even she's serving at 4-5 down, trying to stay in the set. Mira gets up to 2 set points on Marta's serve, and Marta doesn't let it phase her. She fires through, saves both of those set points, one of them with an ace, gets the hold, immediately turns around, huge opportune break, and then holds to win the match. And that hold to win the match was wildly impressive as well. I mean, to set up the match point, she had a essentially diving forehand passing winner. She lost her balance, she tripped over herself, ended up in the dirt, hit the winner anyways. And now you have championship points. You just hit the ground. What does she do? She just gets back up, goes right to serve, and she doesn't dust herself off. She doesn't take any breaths to take in the moment. She just gets up there and does her job. And man, that match point, you could just see the emotion come over her whole team. And this is something that Marta has always had in her, and she has known she's always had in her. The question was, how's she going to get it out of her? And, if you follow Marta for a few years now, she's been on tour for quite a while, despite how young she is. Her number one asset has always been her athleticism. I think at worst, she's a top 3 athlete on tour, a top 3 defender on tour. I would have put her at number 1 in both categories. If you were going to put Coco at number 1, yeah, I mean, look, I'm not going to argue that at all. That's just fine pick. Might be showing a little bit of bias with mine. But look, at the end of the day, that defense can only take you so far. That athleticism can take you so far. And what did it do? It got her consistently into the top 30. That's where her level kind of showed for a while now. She got into the top 20 for a brief bit, but last year she was top 30 and she wasn't getting these breakthrough runs. And she said herself, she kind of looked in the off season and said, look, I don't know what I'm doing. If the results don't come this year, I kind of don't know if they ever will. But her and Sandra, her coach, they regrouped. They ended last season early, had an extended break before they hit any training camp in the off season. They came back, they knew exactly what they needed to work on, and they did it. In my opinion, what that was just getting more aggression out of Marta, turning her natural athleticism into a weapon instead of just a way to respond to people. And she did that from match 1 in Brisbane this year when she made that run to the final, making 3 top 10 wins. It's shown really easily on second serve returns, where she is standing way inside the baseline and basically just looking to tee off and hit a winner every single time. It's very Ostapenko-like. But it's also showing in rallies. It feels like she's always trying to step in and end the point at the first chance that she can. I'd be interested to see if the aggression score backs up what the eye test has shown. But the eye test has shown from match 1 until this match now, she's been one of the most aggressive players on tour, has upped her level, and she has kept that amazing athleticism and defense for the times when she needs it. And there were times that she needed it, especially against Andreeva, especially against Potapova. There were times where she had to sit in there and rally. She had to go stand behind the baseline, and she had to respond and just keep the point alive and try to pull something spectacular out. And a lot of times she did. When you combine that with her newfound weapons that she has, especially with this forehand just really cranking up a notch and becoming deadly when she's able to hit it, man, I mean, like, this is a whole new player, essentially. But I do think even before they made these changes in the offseason, I think the results were starting to peak in a little bit last year. She had that losing streak from around this time. She lost in the 4th round of Rome to Sabalenka. And then after that, she didn't win a match until Canada. She lost 6 straight matches there. It was a very down period for her. She was losing matches she frankly shouldn't be losing. And then she fired back with a pretty good hard court run to end the year. And again, a repeat theme for me is she was only losing matches she was supposed to lose. And even with that, playing well, making kind of good runs in tournaments, she still went into the offseason saying, I need to get better. And it's one thing to say that to yourself. It's another thing to get out of that shell of, I can be a consistently good player playing like this, or I can really do everything in my power to take that leap to be a top player. And that's what she did. And now here she is. We're into May. She's 18-4 this year. She's made 3 finals. She won a 250. She's now won her first 1,000 title in Madrid. She's second on tour in top 10 wins. She has the most bagels on tour this season. I mean, frankly, if she didn't get hurt and lose in that first round match to Giacomo in Australia, and then subsequently she missed Dubai and Doha because of it, we could be looking at really a special season in the making. And don't get me wrong, we still are. I mean, of those 4 losses, 1 was Sabalenka, 2 of them were Rybakina, and then 1 was that Giacomo loss where she got hurt, and maybe she would have lost it anyways. It was tough, but I think she would have pulled that match off if she didn't get hurt. So yeah, that's where we sit where it's a player that's always been good, figured out what she needed to do to become great, and she went out and did it. Now it's just a matter of continuing on that path, and we'll see how it goes. I mean, she's gonna head into Rome. I think the draw to her in Rome is not the hardest draw she's ever had. We'll get into predictions in a little bit, but we could see another deep run from her here. The question will be, is after 12 straight wins and not much rest, how much is left in the tank there? But yeah, I mean, major congrats to Marta. Just a really special tournament. Gotta give props to her. I also want to talk a little bit about the double side too, where Siniakova and Townsend won their 15th match in a row to win 3 straight 1,000 titles. Sunshine Double, and now Madrid. Kind of run out of ways to say how good they are. They're just clearly the best team going. When the draw came out, I thought they were either going to lose first round or make it to the final. That's just kind of how it shook out for them. They ended up coming close to losing the first round. They were 2 points away from losing to Krajcek and Kitchenok. They ended up pulling through and winning that, and then just smooth sailed all the way to the end. And they beat good teams too. Like Andreeva and Schneider, they made WTA finals together last year. They're a dynamic team. They're both super talented, super good. They have great chemistry together, and they just decided not to play with each other for these first few months. Who knows why, but they came back together this week and didn't skip a beat. They looked awesome all the way up until the final when they just ran into a team that's that much better. I also want to give a shout out to one of the wins that Siniakova and Townsend got, which was over Krunic and Mladenovic in the semifinal. Look, the only match that they've lost as a team this year was to Krunic and Danilina. So they get another shot at Krunic here, they take her out, and then they go on to win their third straight title together. We're approaching the territory where we kind of have to just assume they're going to win every single tournament no matter what the draw looks like, because really, unless one of them have a really bad day, have just a terrible off day, the talent alone, I don't know that anybody can match that when they've been together as long as they have and they've won as many titles together as they have. I mean, look, since the start of 2025, they're 47-7 together. And that doesn't include when they first teamed up in 2024 and they won Wimbledon together. They're just kind of an impossible out at this point. We'll see what the doubles draw looks like in Rome whenever that comes out, but I bet I'll be picking them again to win it. And then somebody else I want to mention before we get into the Rome predictions. Like I said, we're kind of gonna do a little bit different format. I'm not gonna be able to have the time to focus on everybody this week, but I do want to give a special spotlight to Daria Kasatkina, who won the title in Catalonia this week at the 125 level. Look, ever since she switched to representing Australia, it hasn't been the smoothest of times for her. She had some losses. She was struggling to put wins together. And then in Doha this year, she kind of finally has something that clicks, only to immediately get injured and have to go out for a few months. And that's just got to be demoralizing. But look, she stayed mentally in it. She comes back. She loses 2 tough 3-setters between Rouen and between Madrid. And right, like when you think about what's inside of her head at that point, it can't be positive things. So what does she do? She decides to come to Catalonia, play 125, try and get some reps in, and those reps turn into win. They turn into another win. All of a sudden you're in the final, and now you have the championship. And this was a grind too. I mean, let's look back to round 1 against Arango. She was down match points. She could have ended this tournament in round 1 right there. She saved multiple match points in that match, won in a third set tiebreaker, and was able to take that, turn into a big run here. She didn't play any of the toughest opponents in the world, or even toughest opponents in this draw. But the opponents she did face, they all have some merit to them. I mean, even Sorribes Tormo, her opponent in the semifinal, the fact that she was able to beat Tormo as easily as she did was quite a testament to her. It's not like Tormo's a tough opponent, but she'll always knock you down and drag you out. Kasatkina didn't let that happen. 2 quick sets, goes down a set to start the championship against Korpach, fights back, fires back, wins the title. I just want to give a quick shout out to her because I know that this has to be feeling so amazing for her. She's back into the top 70. She's about to go into Rome. She has a tough draw. She faces McNally and then would face Iga in the second round. So, I don't think she's going to go too far here in Rome, but she's going to be able to carry that confidence from Catalonia into Roland Garros and into the rest of the year. I hope she's able to stay healthy. I hope she's able to rack up some wins and get deep runs consistently that she hasn't been able to have for quite a while now. I hope this was a sign of things to come. Shout out to Daria Kasatkina. Okay, so let's get into this Rome draw. We've got all the usual suspects in it. I think that a lot of them are going to go very deep here. We're going to go quarter by quarter here. And that's starting with Arina Sabalenka's quarter, where I think there's going to be next to zero competition for her to make the semifinal. Now, granted, I know I'm saying that coming off Madrid, where I felt pretty much the same way, and then she ended up losing to Baptiste. So it is tennis. Anything can happen. But when you look at Arena's draw here, if this was a hard court tournament like Miami, for example, this would be a really tough draw. People like Kirstea, Noskova, Towson, they're all in the way. But on a clay court, these are just people that can't compete with Arena Sabalenka. Like even her potential quarterfinal opponents like Bencic, Anisimova, much better on hard court. Because of that, I think she gets to the semifinals really easily here. As far as who she plays in the quarters, I'm going to go with Qinwen Zheng. Qinwen is somebody who is waiting for that big run. I think this might be the week that she gets it, makes it to the quarterfinals. I would say the draw is pretty kind to her. As far as her second round opponent would be Kristina Buxa, who she should be able to beat very easily. And then after that, I mean, you assume she's going to get Anisimova, and Amanda's coming off that wrist injury, hasn't had the best results on clay of late. Wouldn't be surprised if she gets that done. There's not a lot to talk about in this quarter, if you were to ask me. I think it's Arena and everybody else. I wish that this was China or Miami or Cincinnati, something where we can talk about this with a little bit more depth as far as where she might lose. But yeah, we just can't. I think that for the first round, matchup to watch is going to be Krejcikova versus Giacomo. Two really stylistically interesting players. Giacomo is maybe not going to be the best on clay, but Krejcikova coming off this injury layoff, don't know how she's going to look. I mean, I hope she plays this. By the time you listen, this match will probably be done already, and the winner will be on to face Arena Sabalenka. And this is another situation where if Krejcikova was healthy, if she was in form, this would be a really tough matchup for Arena, but in the current situation, I can't see Krejcikova doing much here. But this first round matchup will be fun. I also think Siniakova versus Boisson will be a really fun matchup. Siniakova, obviously really fun game style. Boisson with that big forehand built for clay. Could be really fun to see them go back and forth, and I hope Boisson shows something a little bit more than she did in Madrid against Peyton Stearns. And into the next quarter, it's Coco's quarter. It's a tough one though. I mean, she has Mira down there. She has Paolini. What's Paolini's tournament going to look like? She's defending her champion points here. She's out of the live top 10 for the first time in a very long time. I feel bad for her. I mean, I think that she gets a lot of flack as somebody who has made 2 slam finals, won 2 1,000 tournaments, been consistently at the top. I think because she was such a late bloomer, people really hold that against her. But I can't lie, even as a Paolina defender, this has been a really bad year for her. I don't think she's going to do much damage here. Maybe she does find the magic. Maybe it just is going to take a little home crowd cooking. Maybe just something to do with this surface in Rome that can bring some magic out of her, because she's going to need it. This is not the easiest draw in the world for her. Going probably against Jacqueline Christian, going against Mertens, going against Andreeva. Like these are all matches that she could lose. She might very well go out in the round of 64 without a win. Above her, though, we have Coco, we have Mira. I think they'll both make the quarters with ease. I mean, let's focus on Coco first. Maybe Valentova can give her some issues. Maybe Kessler, if Kessler finds some kind of special form here, could give her some issues in the 4th round. But I don't predict either of those to really happen. I mean, I think Coco's just a level above everybody in this section here. I mean, her 3rd round matchup would be Raducanu, which has a lot of question marks behind Raducanu, and, you know, I'm never going to pick her against Coco in this current state. Jovic, maybe in a few years, can be that person that challenges Coco, but I think in her current state, everything she does well, Coco will have an answer to. And that's why I say maybe Kessler would be the one to challenge her, just because Kessler does have those weapons when she's cooking, but it's going to take a lot for her to get to that cooking stage. So I'm going to predict Coco to get to the quarter, and I'm going to predict her to get against Mira, because this draw for Mira is going to be, I think, a cakewalk. A lot of that has to do with, it's not about the level of opponents Mira's facing, it's about the level that Mira is at. Mira's now at the level where she's not going to lose to people much worse than her. She's going to bring it. She's going to take care of everybody. She's got the talent. She's got the mental. Got everything she needs to just breeze through these early rounds at tournaments like this, especially on clay. Maya joint in the 3rd round. A lot of question marks there. Mertens or Paolini. You know, I just talked about Paolini a little bit, but if it's Mertens, I mean, Andreeva is going to beat her. So I think this is, we can lock this in as a quarterfinal matchup. And I hate to lock it in because it is tennis, but we really can. And I think that Coco is the one who comes out on top in this situation. At the start of the year, we were waiting for that big run from Coco, and then it happened in Miami. She made the final, and since Miami, she's had some bad luck. Stuttgart hasn't always been her best tournament. Drawing Muhova there was always going to be a really, really difficult one for her. And then in Madrid, she got some of that sickness, and she lost a match that she shouldn't have lost to Noskova. I think she gets that Miami form back, goes on a big run here in Rome, takes out Andreeva to make it to the semifinals. I mean, Rome's always been a really nice tournament for her. If I'm facing Coco, Rome is not the place I want to do it. As far as a first round matchup here, I'm going to go with Kessler versus Bronzetti as the most appealing one in this quarter. I think that the Italian crowd is going to be great for Bronzetti, and I think if they really do pick it up a notch, it's going to bring out this side of Kessler that really makes her fun to watch. I think she's always great to watch, but she has this personality to her that when it kicks in, she becomes one of the most fun players in the world to watch for me. And the Italian crowd might bring that out of her. We might get some fireworks here. I'm looking forward to it. Just like I'm looking forward to this next quarter, Iga Swiatek's quarter. I think top to bottom, this is a loaded quarter. Let's look at Iga's path specifically because look, we've talked a lot about Iga on this show, and in general, the world has talked a lot about Iga. Everybody has an opinion on her current form. My opinion is her form has a big question mark to it. And man, I really wish that Madrid didn't go the way it did so we could have seen a full strength Iga, gotten a baseline for where her level is. Right now, we just still don't know. But we're going to find out here in Rome because this draw from the get-go is tough for her. McNally or Kasatkina in round 1. Whoever wins that gets Iga in round 2. And look, Dasha just gave Iga a run for money in Doha this year. McNally's somebody that, like I said, top players don't want to face her right now. She's always going to be tricky on clay. Round 3, I mean, my projection is she gets Cocheretto. It's a match that she should win, but Cocheretto is a great player in front of her home crowd. You never know how that goes. And then round 4, I think she gets Naomi Osaka here. Now, Naomi just went to the Met Gala, and a lot of people are, questioning that decision. I think it's a little bit overblown. She'll be locked in when her match comes. And she's had some success in Rome in recent years. And look, we know a few years ago, she pushed Iga to the limit on clay at Roland Garros. So no reason to think she can't do it again here. On the other side of the aisle, the other half of this quarter, it seems like Muchova is to lose. I mean, Pegula, Samsonova, Fernandez, the other seeds in there with her. As far as a clay court tournament goes, you're not going to find too much danger in there. I actually think that Zeynep Sonmez is in a good position to make another good 1,000 level run here. I wouldn't be surprised if she upsets Pegula in round 2. Maybe even takes out Lily Fernandez after that, make it to the 4th round. I don't think she gets past the 4th round, especially if Muchova's there, but I do think that this is Muchova's to lose. Obviously, we don't know how the qualifiers are going to be placed. That will factor in a lot. Yeah, if we look in round 4 here, I think that Muchova beats Zeynep Sonmez. I think Iga does beat Naomi. Even though I just talked Naomi up, I think that I'm going to trust in Iga still. Trust she wins that match. And then I'm going to trust that she beats Karolina Muchova to make it to the semifinals here. Do I feel good about this pick? No. But look, at the end of the day, I know what Iga is capable of. We all know what she's capable of. She's done things that nobody else on tour has done. Even Aryna Sabalenka, as good as she is, has not reached the highs that Iga has reached. And until Iga pulls that one straw that breaks my back, I'm going to believe in her. I really am. Even if I look delusional, even if it looks like it's a detriment to my sanity, I'm picking her to take the semis here, and who knows, maybe a little bit further. But first, let's get into Elena Rybakina's quarter. The story in this quarter is not Elena, it's Marta Kostyuk. Obviously, we talked about 12-match win streak coming in, but I also say nobody can win 3 tournaments in a row. There's 2 people in the world I trust to do that. That's Iga, because we've seen her do it, and it's Aryna Sabalenka. Marta seemingly has to lose at some point, right? Even if she seems untouchable right now. So we'll see how this goes for her. I mean, this early draw for her is tough. Pliskova or Buzas Monero in round 2. Both those great opponents. I do think her return ability would nullify Pliskova's advantage a little bit there. I think she gets into round 3. Round 3 could be interesting for her. Alexandrova or Balic. Remember, Balic is who beat her in round 1 of Paris last year. But again, I mean, look, it comes down to this round 4 matchup where if things go to plan, it's her versus Rybakina. Rybakina has Marta's number. We know that. But what we also know, there's already reports that Elena's sick this week. I am not sure the validity of those. I would tend to think that it's allergies, as she always has her allergies here in Rome. Elena's definitely making it to round 4. These first few rounds for her are not going to be difficult. Once it gets to round 4 and beyond, it's really going to get hard for her. And because of the difficulty and because of the allergy thing, I'm going to pick Marta to go to the quarterfinals here over Elena. I mean, look, it's a combo of that, a combo of Marta's hot streak, of her good run in Rome last year before running into Sabalenka. I think there's a lot of factors here. I'm going to stick with Marta over Rybakina. But I don't know. I mean, I think Rybakina's health is going to be the biggest question mark in this section, maybe even in the whole draw. And look, the other half of this quarter, absolutely loaded. Svitolina, Baptiste, Keys, Mboko, Peyton Stearns. I mean, those are 5 people that, if you were to tell me any of them won this quarter, if any of them made it to the final, I would be like, oh, yeah, kind of makes sense. I mean, those are 5 really great players. A lot of potential on clay, especially with Peyton coming off of a semifinal run here last year. She's going to have all those points to defend. And yeah, she's not in the best form right now. She's coming off that round 1 loss in Catalonia. I think as far as a round 1 match here to watch, it's her versus Chen, just because watching Peyton on clay is always a treat. But yeah, from round 2 on in this section, it's going to be nothing but blockbusters. I think the one that gets through it is Svitolina, just because I think she's the most reliable, the most consistent. And while I love the other 4 that I mentioned, I think she's the one that's most likely to weather the storm and get through it. And then we have an all-Ukrainian quarterfinal in Marta versus Alina. I'm going to go with Marta, keep the win streak going, make it to the semifinal here in Rome. And yeah, let's just get right into the semifinal. We'll go with number 1, her versus Iga. Iga has always had Marta's number. It's never really been close. And I think I would pick Iga here again. Now, look, I don't want to get too deep into this because it's not going to happen. I'm not going to be 100% right here. But if it were to happen, it would mean Iga's gotten through a really tough field, is in really good form. If you're going to lose eventually, like Marta has to lose eventually, losing to Iga in Rome, good spot to do it. A lot of really, really amazing players have done that. So yeah, we'll pick Iga to get to the final here. On the other side, it's Sabalenka and Coco. Absolutely great matchup. I'm going to pick Sabalenka here. I think she's going to come in a little bit motivated coming off that really weird result in Madrid, losing that match Baptiste that she really shouldn't have lost. And ultimately, if I'm going to pick against Arena ever, it needs to be for really good reason. And as good as Coco is in Rome, I don't think that's a good enough reason to have her beat Arena. So with all this said, my final prediction, Iga Swiatek versus Arena Sabalenka. And I'm going to pick Iga. Again, might be delusion, might be stupidity, but as long as she's out there, I'm going to believe in her. Unless she really just keeps finding these early exits, frustrating losses. It's really the way that she's losing as opposed to just the fact that she is losing. If that all continues, I maybe someday I'll get off the Iga train, but for now, I'm going to keep believing in her, in Rome especially. I think that her history here, her game, there's too many considerations here not to pick her. So yeah, I'm putting my trust in Iga here. We'll see. I mean, maybe this time next week she'll be out in round 3 and we'll all be like, wow, can't believe how stupid Owen was with that. But you got to believe in somebody. I'm choosing to believe in Iga. So yeah, that does it for my Rome predictions. We'll be back here right here next week, talk about what's going on around the tennis world, including these first 2 rounds of Rome, previewing the rest of Rome, see what's going around on the lower levels of tour. We'll hit it all next week. So thanks for listening and see you then.